Steeler Nation Live. I'm Sanders Tisdale.
James Owen.
Guys, another huge day on Steeler Nation. It's the end of the NFL. Lots to talk about. We're going to get right to it right now. But you guys, you know what? The number one thing you want to say is out there. A 3-game winning streak by the Steelers out there. Huge. Rudolph is still doing his thing. And also, guys, the Steelers enter the playoff race as a 7th seed going up to Buffalo. You guys got to be ready. You know what? Oh, if they want to make the trip, they got to do it this week because Pittsburgh is hot. And also, that's a 1 o'clock start. Just remind you guys. Also, we're going to talk about key injuries to the Steelers defense. Mike Tomlin's job, is it secure or isn't it secure? A lot of you guys out there are asking for the news. It might still be. Marquise Ogden stops by the studio. This guy, you're going to love him. There's a lot to talk about. NFL veteran. And also our playoff pitcher for the Steelers. Next up on Steeler Nation Live.
Welcome back, Steeler Nation Live, folks. It's that time of the year, playoff football, all records. It's clear to slate. You're not 10-6 or 11-6 or 10-7. You're 0-0. Every team entering in there, you could throw that all away. And we're going to talk about that later in the show about the playoff picture and the Pittsburgh Steelers, where they're at, where they're going, what they're going to do. But first of all, how do we get to where we're at right now? Yes, we needed a little help. By, certain teams had to lose. Pittsburgh still had to win their games. And before I forget this is very huge. And a lot of people out there, they toss this aside about the terrible towel curse. And people who were not Steeler fans, who were kind of just out in the outside, just looking in. Oh, that's crap. There's no such thing. But I'll tell you what, have one of your team players on one of your team that you like, other than the Steelers, disgrace the towel and see what happens. I mean, just off the top of my head, back a couple of years ago, Cincinnati Bengals fan, you know it well. And when they, Hushmanzada, the wide receiver, or the Bengals beat the Steelers earlier in the year, they took the towel, he rubbed it on his shoe, whatever. And guess what happened? We beat the Bengals, and we went into the playoffs. And now the Jags, they're young team. They don't know any better. Took a couple of terrible towels when they were in Pittsburgh. After they beat us this year, we should have won that game anyways. They disgraced the towel, Sanders. And guess what happened? Because they lost, which they should have won, they put us into the playoffs. Thank you. Try it. Go home. Mess with the towel. It's up to you. Do you want your team to lose? Go ahead and do it. But how do we actually get here? Well, Mason Rudolph been with Steelers for over 6 years. Never really got a shot. Never really got a chance. But, I mean, he was right there. In case of emergency, break the glass. You got to pull Mason Rudolph. You got to put him in. What else do we have to lose? I mean, it's either him or Boswell or Presley Harvin, the punter. We're going to talk about him later in the show too. But anyways, let's go over some reasons. People are saying, well, who should be quarterback? Sanders. And you know what? I did a little research about the stats of, and just to bolster why Mason Rudolph, should be the quarterback, not because he won the last 3 games. He came in there and established an actual offensive scheme, and he ran it well. Just some stats off. So Pickett's last 3 games, his stats were this. Against the Cardinals, 7 for 10 for 70 yards passing with a rating of 89.6. That was the game he got hurt. Trubisky came in. So let's go to the 2 games before that game, all right? The Bengals, 24 for 33, 278 yards passing with a passing rating of 97.8. Against the Browns, 15 for 28, 106 yards, passing rating of 62.5. Not that good. All right, let's enter Mitch Trubisky, the savior for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been down this road before. He was an all-star in Chicago. He came to Pittsburgh. He's supposed to change things around. Trubisky against the Colts, 16 for 23, 169, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, with a passer rating of 68.9 against the Patriots, a team we should have beat, who were 2-10 at the time. Getting back to the Cardinals, who were 2-10 at the time. We lost to them as well. 22 for 35, 1 TD, 1 interception, with passing rating of 74.7. And against the Cardinals, when he came in, back up for Pickett when he got hurt, 11 for 17, 117 yards passing, 1 TD with a passing rating of a high 104. That's the best out of those 2. So in comes Mason Rudolph the savior, Rudolph, with your nose so bright. We all know the song. Christmas is over. I got it. So with Rudolph, his last 3 games, Cincinnati 17 for 27, 290 yards, 2 TDs with a passing rating of 124. Enter the Seahawks. Well, we travel out west to Seattle. 18 for 24, 274 yards with a passing rating of 121.2. And the lowest rating he got against the Ravens, we all saw that downpour, the wind, the rain, the snow, everything was going on. 18 for 20, 152, 1 TD with a passing rating of 115, a record of 3-0. But the other big picture there, folks, 0 interceptions. How could you not have this guy in the pocket? Now, if you watch our show in the past, you know how I feel about starters and backups. Okay. If your starter goes down, your backup comes in because that's his primary position to back you up. When the starter comes back, he should take the reins again, right? That's how I live and breathe off that. However, if the starting quarterback is coming back and his record in the past is just dismal, but you have the backup who is obviously doing a far better job, how could you not put him in there behind the center? I know I'm swimming up river. I'm swimming upstream because this is what I'm totally against. But you have to play the hot hand. You have to go with what's going on. Now, if Pickett played just as well as Rudolph, absolutely, you got to put him back in there. But this is what we got, Sanders. The stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie. This is what we have. And so anybody out there who thinks that Rudolph should not be quarterback, something wrong with you.
Yeah, that's a lot to say that Rudolph earned it. And yeah, that's one thing we wanted to talk about is the way that Rudolph played to earn his position there in his upcoming game versus the Buffalo Bills. We got some Buffalo Bill chatter on the line too. So we want to make much up to you. We got a guest calling in today, so I want to make sure we leave some room today because I want to open it up for Bills fans. Call in. Let us know what you think the score would be, and I just want to get your feedback. So when next week's show, we can, give you guys your kiss goodbye. Just to let you know. That's for me.
Maybe. But stay tuned. But we compiled some, latest stats of between Mason Rudolph. Allen, last 3 games, 765 yards, 3 TDs, 4 interceptions with a combined passer rating of 259.6. And you have Rudolph, 716 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions with a combined passing rating of 351.2. So it's not comparing apples and oranges. I mean, you got two. I mean, Josh Allen is I want to say far superior to Mason Rudolph. I mean, you look what he's done with the Buffalo Bills, and Mason Rudolph really has never had the opportunity of showing his skill set as Josh Allen did. Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and Mason Rudolph, he's been around the league, a while, 6-7 years. And so he's got to put his time in, and he's going to show what he can do. And hopefully against this Buffalo Bill team, it's going to be a close game. Unlike what they're saying in Vegas right now, it's, I think, 10.5 favorites over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
But we talked about this earlier, Sanders, coming into the playoffs like this with a clean slate. I like the underdog version because, you go in there with the mentality that you have nothing to lose, everything to gain. So you're not second guessing yourself. You're putting it all on the line, and you have better chances of coming out with a win when you come out with that attitude, as opposed to playing not to lose, as opposed to playing to win the game.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what makes Pittsburgh a dangerous team. You got to think about it. The Steelers, they have nothing to lose. They can go out there and do those plays and do plays that the Bills don't expect. So now the Buffalo Bills right now, they're going into this game thinking, you know what? We're going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, you got to admit, let's put it all on the line. Right now, the Buffalo Bills, they're a game away from what the Pittsburgh record is. I believe they're 10 or 11-7, 11-6,
11-6,
11-6. Pittsburgh's 10-7.
At one point, they were 6-6.
Right. Now, the difference between that, which I think is that the Buffalo Bills actually almost lost to a New York Giant team, which they should have beat. A New York Giant team with a quarterback, the ex-Buffalo Bill, Tyrod Taylor. They almost beat the Buffalo Bills and got away with a referee. Again, winning the game for the Buffalo Bills, just like they did in KC, just like they did in other games. I'm telling you, I say Pittsburgh is going to take it. But the thing about it is Pittsburgh has to stay within the confines of the game. They got to keep the game close, and it does hurt, James. It does hurt to a key that we don't have our top pass rusher in the game, but we got some young guys to back that up. And I'm kind of feeling that Pittsburgh in this underdog role is possibilities. Pittsburgh, all they needed all season, James, was a guy that can at least throw the ball, a guy that can at least put the ball in a certain position to keep the defense from continually being on the field. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and outs. Now, just like people were saying on the boards, now you got a guy out there who can throw the ball, find the other open receiver, find the open back. We didn't have that for almost over a year with Kenny Pickett involved with that. And that's why the whole concept of should Kenny Pickett start? He was a guy that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted, put all this equity into, put all this time into. But you know what? The guy that you had sitting on the bench a while ago, maybe it's the fact, James, that he sat there. He got to look at the game from another perspective. He got to say, you know what? This is it. Is either win or I go home. And so that's what's going on with him. And right now, if not with Pittsburgh, he's making a case for himself with another team, James.
Yeah, I mean, he's setting himself up for a good future in the NFL. Maybe not necessarily a starter for another team, but a team that's looking to rebuild, drafting a young quarterback. They have somebody in there until their draft pick, develops and becomes the starting quarterback. But I think Rudolph came into the mindset, hey, you know what? I've been here, been there, done that. I'm just going to go out there and play football the way I know how to do it. And just like he did in Oklahoma State, he's showing why the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted him in the 3rd round not so many years ago, that he knows ball placement, he can throw the ball deep, and he can hit the players on the sideline over the back shoulder. And I think with the problem with Pickett, not only that he's not seeing the field, totally all the way, and he's following receivers as they're doing their routes, is that Pickett throws some dimes. He's got some skill that he could put it, back shoulder sideline, but he doesn't use the whole field. And what the thing that Rudolph does when he comes to the table is that he can hit anybody, skinny posts, slants, just long drives, just throw the ball down there. And he's very, very accurate, and, not to jinx him or anything like that, but he's been placing the ball very well. He has not thrown any interceptions, and, I don't want to jinx him. I don't believe in superstitions because why? I don't want nothing bad to happen to me. But I think that as long as Rudolph gets in there and he plays that veteran mode and he plays a game that he knows how, and he just goes there and does it and doesn't, hold back, and he's not like Kenny Pickett, second guessing himself and running around the pocket. He's not flustered. This is what we need as far as a leader on the offense. Not trying to knock Kenny Pickett, because Kenny Pickett has skills too. Why does he have skills? This is the reason why he picked him in the 1st round. But what are you going to do? You got to go with the hot hand. You got to go with Mason Rudolph. He's been there. He's not flustered. He took a couple sacks that he shouldn't have, but he's not perfect yet. And just getting into that game mode where he can move the offense and keep the clock running for the offense, give the defense a rest. That's very, very helpful to the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point.
Yeah, and that's the huge thing right there. Actually, guys out there, guys writing on the board as well. So while we've been talking, we've been seeing all the writing on the board. Steeler Freak. It says the Steeler locker room after the Ravens victory told us who we would start next week. 100% correct. That was 100% correct. That when you seen he went out there in that sloppy field in Ravenland, hostile crowd, they went out there and they did it. They went out there and did what they had to do. This guy was a 3rd string sitting on the bench, Mason Rudolph. And he said Herbert and Golden are fresh with low snap counts. That will help. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. And one point that I don't want to, it's that we have to talk about, and I don't want to miss it, pass off, whatever. And, whatever it is. But we had an issue starting up the beginning of the season with Pickens in his attitude, getting the ball, whatnot. Against the Ravens, he had 0 attempts, 0 pass attempts his way. And what happened? Did you hear anything? No. I think that Mason Rudolph had a talk with him, a bunch of other players, I'm pretty sure. And if you see the game film and you watch the locker room and you see him on the field blocking for other people, knowing that he didn't get a ball thrown his way or he had a catch, he had 0 yards the whole game, but this guy stepped up, and I don't know what happened. I don't know if Tomlin took him in his office and sat down and have a father-son talk with him. I don't know whoever talked to him, whatever they said to him, just 180 degree. And this guy was all for everybody in that locker room. And it's nice that, hey, this is a team. We win together, we lose together, but it's very fun when you win, especially when you beat a division rival like the Baltimore Ravens. So I have to say, I have to talk about that, Saturday. I mean, you take his attitude earlier and all of a sudden it just totally changes for the better. And not only is that going to help him, it's going to help the quarterback. It's going to help the team. It's going to motivate everybody else that, hey, look, we're a team. And, this me stuff, it's not going to cut it. It's just going to get you nowhere. And nobody's going to want to work with you. Nobody's going to want to play a game with you. And it's just, you don't need that drama in the locker room. And I have to talk about it because it's a big issue of late with these diva wide receivers not getting their way, stomping their feet, their panties in a twist, whatever it is. It's just, you have to nip it in the bud. And congratulations to whoever talked to him, and congratulations to Pickens for, finally starting to mature. Love it. It's a great thing to see, especially when you're hanging with the guys in the locker room singing and stuff. When you did have a part in the game, he was out there blocking, running routes. It's just like total different receiver there, Sanders.
Yeah. And the thing about it is he's got it. He got to get in his head. Hines Ward even tried to contact this guy and say, you know what? Championships, you're not won by yourself. Championships are won with you being out there and doing what you got to do. As you can see now you see Pickett going downfield, blocking to 8 guys getting the touchdowns. That's crazy. You never seen Pickett start doing that, because now he's got to realize it's a team ball effort. And now you've seen where games where he didn't barely get the ball now against the Ravens. Barely got the ball.
He didn't get the ball. He's zero pass attempts, 0 touches, and 0 yards. But he played better, not getting, well, I didn't say played better. I'm pretty sure he could have scored a couple touchdowns, got a couple passes. But for him to be in that mindset with not getting a ball thrown to him and just being a team player, that was huge.
Yeah. And like you said, Deontay Johnson got the score, a 70-yard bomb for a touchdown. He goes right down and congratulates him.
Absolutely.
He gets excited. That's what we need. We need a team effort, and we're going to need a huge team effort going into Buffalo. I'm going to love this because later, like I said, later on in the show, at the end, close to the end of the show, another 15 minutes, I want to get Bills fan. If you're a Bills fan, I'm going to put the number up there. Call in. Use your digits. 1, 2, 3. I know you're a Bills fan. Carry the 1, carry the 6. Dial the number. Call in. Talk to Steeler Nation. I want to get your feedback on who's going to win this game. What's the score going to be? I want to get it from you Bills fans, because I know you're going to talk very, very outrageous with scoring.
Yeah, they can. They should. They put themselves in a position right there where, they can talk the talk. But will the Bills walk the walk? That's the question. And before we forget, just another thing that just popped into my head. It's just that people talk about the AFC North as being a weak division, not that strong. AFC North was a pretty tight division back in the day. But with the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Cleveland Browns, we're the first division in NFL history to have all teams with a 500 or better record.
All right.
Mark it down. Hey, welcome to the show. Who do we have? Is this Marquez Ogden?
It is.
Oh, folks out here. Let me introduce Marquez Ogden, former NFL player about football. This handsome devil right here. He's got 2 best-selling books out there. We're going to tell you how to get them. They're called Sleepless Nights was one book. The Success Cycle is another book you get out there. And he's got a fantastic podcast, Getting Authentic with Marquez. You got to check it out. And I'm sure Marquez will tell you folks at home how to get there. And this cat is a motivational speaker. He's been on the show before. We love this guy. Marquez, former Baltimore Ravens. We're going to talk about that later in the show, but thank you for coming back on the show, Marquez. We love you. Thank you for taking out time and tell the folks at home who happen to miss the last time you were on about your amazing books, your bestsellers out there, and how can they watch your podcast?
Great. Thanks a lot, James. So they can basically go to anywhere online, Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and type in The Success Cycle, and it'll pop straight up, and you can go buy it and purchase it and get it shipped to your house. You can also go on to Amazon for Sleepless Nights for the same thing. And then our podcast is in the top 0.5% in the world most popular. And we're very fortunate in that regard. And people absolutely love it. And you can check it out on any hosting platform, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, Pandora. You can listen to it on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So people absolutely love, our podcast. They love our books. And you can also find it on our website, www.marcus360.com. Or, right, James, we have an app, the Marcus Ogden app. You can go into your Apple or your Android app store, type in my name, MARQUS, Ogden, OGDEN, and the app will pop straight up.
Man, fantastic. I mean, just listen. Can you folks at home tell that this guy is a motivational speaker? I mean, I want to, I have the app on my phone. Sanders has it on his phone, and I implore everybody out there to put it on their phone. It's just listen to Marquez speak. It's just, man, it gets your blood pumping. I mean, this guy is just amazing, and it just for him to take time out again to come on his show is amazing, especially the Pittsburgh Steelers show. And we know how much you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, Marquez.
Of course not, but I like people who like their team, so we're all good there.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, tell us a little bit about you coming out of college real quick. Give the people a synopsis of who you are coming out of Howard University, and how was that for you being picked up first by the
Jaguars.
The Jaguars, and then you also played for the Buffalo Bills, who the Steelers played this week as well. And the Titans,
Yep, that's correct.
We all can't be perfect.
It's interesting you asked that question. So, in reality, being drafted with Jacksonville Jaguars was absolutely awesome because it gave me the opportunity to go and play for a guy I knew, Mr. Jack Del Rio, who was my head coach, at the Jaguars. Phenomenal guy, just sensational, in every way. And then from there, I got to play with my brother in Baltimore, which was stupendous. I enjoyed that, playing with guys like Ray Lewis, guys like Ed Reed, guys like my brother. That was just absolutely awesome. And, in that regard, I mean, I just learned a lot. I learned a lot about the NFL. I learned a lot about the game. I learned about everything like in that regard. So it was really, really awesome. So for me, what I tell people all the time is, how are you able to really put yourself in a position for success? And so for me, what I've learned is at the end of the day, you have to be willing to be an individual that's going to move the needle and come to an organization ready to play ball and ready to do your thing. And so the Jaguars, the Ravens, the Bills, the Titans, they all taught me that. And like I said, I was very fortunate to have such a great time in the National Football League, playing for some great teams, but also playing for some phenomenal head coaches.
That's amazing. Now, what was the catalyst to your books, The Sleepless Nights and The Success Cycle? What was the what got you to write these books?
Well, it's interesting you say that. So for me, what it was is I wanted to be able to set myself up to really help other people, in that regard. So in that regard, what I learned is at the end of the day, that you have to be willing to be somebody that's going to share your story. And so I struggled immensely, with issues after the National Football League. I struggled with issues after losing all my money in the business after I built this 8-figure company. And so what I did was I really learned how to help others with my story. And as a result of that, gentlemen, the book really helped a lot of people in that regard. And then what happened is I wanted to really take that and start tailoring my pain into my passion. And that's what led to keynote speaking. I've been doing it now for, a little over 10 years. And, very fortunate that people love our work, love what we're about, love our message, love what we're really doing. And that's really helped to propel us forward. And now we do business coaching, consulting. We do, we have our podcast. I'm a brand ambassador where I own some businesses that align with who we are. And it's just phenomenal, in that regard. So it's really awesome, what we do. But again, it all started with me saying, you know what? Enough is enough after I went bankrupt and lost all of my money in 2013. And I had to start completely over.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring the point up to the people, the fans listening out there. You weren't just some, overpaid football player who said, hey, I'm going to put my name on a book and because I have all this money. You started from below the basement. You had it all, you lost it all, and you started basically from nothing. And that's because that what brought you to where you are right now.
Oh, absolutely. I literally, when I got to Raleigh in 2013, I had $400 to my name. After an NFL career, after a successful construction company, my ego just got in the way. And as a result of my ego getting in the way, it cost me everything. And I had to literally start over from rock bottom, and I had to rebuild myself and get myself going in that regard. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot from all the hardship. And again, when I got here and had to restart, I had nothing. When I tell you I had nothing, I had absolutely zero. And that's because my ego got in the way. So if you're listening to this awesome interview, understand just because you have success doesn't mean it can't just be taken away from you in an instant, right? You have to respect it. I have a saying. If you don't respect success and you don't, accept it and don't learn how to appreciate it, success will handle you. So either you can handle success with grace and humbleness and be appreciative. Like when you guys, always reach out to me, hey man, thanks for having me on the show. I mean, I'm not one of these guys, I've got this huge podcast now. I've got this huge following now. And I'm too big for you guys. No, you guys, hey man, you want to come on the show? Again, I'm a former Raven. I mean, I don't like the Steelers. I mean, that's what but again, when people ask me to come and do something, right, that I respect, even though they have bad taste in teams, I'm still going to do it.
You thought about that.
That's the whole point, right? And I think what happens is people, they forget where they come from. They forget, who it was that supported them. Like you guys always you guys bought my book in the past. You guys had me come on your show in the past. When I was really I won't say I was starting out, but I was nowhere near where I am today. But that's the whole point, and that's the whole thing of the whole lesson of life. You can try to act like you're a big shot, sure, but when things aren't going well for you and people say, oh, Marcus, yeah, sure, I would help you out, but you kind of big time me, you didn't help me out, that's when things start to get a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100% agree. Dude, that's one thing I love about it. And I love that you did those books because that goes to show you, like you look at the guys on the TV and a lot of people think they're bigger than life. These guys, they got the money, but there's a lot of things that go into it. With money, you're not only taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, maybe some extended family, who knows what, but everything goes into it. But sometimes I believe and I do in reading your book like that, it's like you go to that point in life to where things are great, the highs and the lows, but it's how do you deal with the lows? And you're a good example for that. You went from the lows and you pulled yourself back up, brother. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, I was making $8.25 an hour in 2013. The year before that, or year and a half before that, I was clearing seven figures in my business, right? And my ego literally got in the way. And one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite people is J.K. Rowling. Her quote, rock bottom is the moment that she rebuilt her life, as she wrote, Harry Potter in her car or in Starbucks, wherever she could. And she was homeless trying to get herself together. She's the only billionaire author in the world, the only one. Wow. She's given away over $250 million to charity, right? And that's the example of, just because you're at rock bottom doesn't mean you have to stay there. But if you're listening to this, again, when it comes to sports, and sports and life are very synonymous, you're not going to win every time. Right? I mean, how many coaches got fired? I mean, I think Ron Rivera got fired.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel got fired. Like all these things, right?
Yeah,
but those guys know, the ups and downs of this game. But most of those guys are like, you know what, man? I'll either get somewhere else. I'll kind of get new thing. But those guys are not going to worry about it. You know, I mean, nobody likes getting fired, but that's life. You're not going to win all the time. Hopefully sometimes you win more than you lose. But the whole thing is in life, you got to be prepared how to deal with the down times. Because again, life is not going to be rosy red, linear, perfect. It's just not. I mean, I got divorced. 18 months ago, guys, I started the divorce process. So now I'm divorced. I went into an apartment. This was literally November 1st, 2022. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment, hating life, feeling down, feeling like this is only 13 months ago, 14 months ago. Like, wow, like what the hell happened in my life? How did I get here? I mean, I'm divorced. I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment. I have no furniture. I have half my money's gone. I got this IRS debt. What am I going to do? And for about 2 months or so, I was just in a really bad spot, probably 2.5 to 3 months. January, I said, man, I got to get out of this. I said, I got to turn this around. And I worked hard and I visualized and vocalized and voted and changed who I was around with my vicinity. Bought my brand new dream home 6 months ahead of schedule. Very fortunate with everything going on and get out of debt, take care of business, growing a brand, be able now to live life and be happy and be out there with good people. And like I said, 14 months ago, I was just starting that downward spiral after having to move out after filing for divorce from my spouse, who I was married to for 7 years, and I was with her for 10.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is just recently 14 months ago.
Been
So
there,
I tell
done that.
everybody, man, life's not going to be easy, but I swear, if you just stick to it, right? That's like in football, right? The team that sticks together, that sticks through the highs and lows of the game, because they're not going to make every play. It's not going to be perfect. You're going to get sacked. You're going to throw an interception. You're going to have a fumble, right? All these things, right? But the team that's going to win it are the guys that are going to stay together.
Now, Marcus, let me ask you this. Now, you've played on the Baltimore Ravens, and you also were part of the Buffalo Bills. So now, just to stir a little stuff in the pot there. Which one do you consider yourself to be home? You know what I mean? What you consider yourself a player for life for that team?
Well, it's interesting you say that only because Jonathan was drafted the first Raven overall in 1996. I mean, I kind of have to have that. I remember going to practice back in the day when there'd be Vinny Testaverde. I remember meeting Ted Marchibroda, God rest his soul. I knew the Modell, David and his wife, and the Art, and everybody, and a young Ozzie Newsome, and a young Ray Lewis, a young Jonathan Ogden, a Jermaine Lewis.
Wow.
Vinny Testaverde was the quarterback. Orlando Brown Sr., who's now his son is I just made a post, James. Just made a post on Facebook and LinkedIn. Travis Kelce's 34 years old. I didn't know that. He's 34. And he operates at a high level. Why?
Well, look at his girlfriend.
I'll find out.
He's operating on something.
Yeah, of course he's got the young girl now, but we're interviewing his personal trainer next week. I want to know from that guy, well, what are you doing to keep Travis, who'll be by the time he'll be 35 by the time midway next season? Like, how do you keep a 35-year-old as the top tight end, in my opinion, the top tight end in the NFL, peak performance, at that age? What are you doing?
Well, look at his girlfriend. I'm pretty sure that she's keeping him motivated in more ways than one.
I'm sure. But even before that, I mean, when he was 32. I mean, most guys, he was winning Super Bowls at 32, like catching touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He was 33. You know what I mean? Like most guys are out by what? 28, 29,
Yeah.
Here he is, 33 years old, and he's still what? The number one tight end in football.
Yeah, you can't judge a book. You can't
what
judge
does that look like?
You can't judge a book by its cover. Look at you.
That's my point. So
you handsome
Andrew's
devil.
obviously training him at a high level, and we're gonna get that type of information on our podcast. So my point is, because Jonathan was the Ravens' first draft pick, 96, I knew all those guys. I mean, a lot of those guys have passed away, God rest their soul. Orlando Brown Sr.'s gone. Jeff Blackshear's gone. there's a lot of, Eric Turner's gone. Those were some great guys. Because of that, and I love Buffalo because our dad's actually from Buffalo. So Buffalo's too. And you know what I mean? So it's huge, really important in that regard.
All right, folks, if you're just tuning in right now, our special guest on the air right now is Marquez Ogden, former NFL All-Pro standout, the author of 2 best-selling books, Sleepless Nights and The Success Cycle. You can check him out he's got his own podcast called Authentic with Marquez. One of the greatest guys you can know. He's been up there, he's been down, he's back up again. And Marquez, we just want to thank you once again for coming on to Steel Nation Live. And one more time, shout out to the people, how they can get your podcast and how they can get your books really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to Barnes & Nobles to pick up The Success Cycle or Amazon. They can go to Amazon to pick up Sleepless Nights. And you can go to any podcast platform, Audible, Amazon, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Spotify. And you can check out our podcast. Like I said, we're in the top 0.5% in the world most popular. I had a goal of hitting that by January 1st, 2024, and we hit that goal at December 31st, 2023.
Wow.
So
Talking about
really excited about
close.
where we're going, where we're headed.
All right, Marquez, thank you so much once again for being on the show. We're waiting for more books to come out. We're waiting for you come up north to the Rochester area, West New York. If you're going to do some speaking, 2 guys are going to be there, listen to you. So once again,
I look forward to it, Jeremy. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. And enjoy your night. And good luck to y'all in the playoffs.
All right, thank you. Take
God
care.
bless, brother.
Wow. Another great interview, Marquez Ogden, folks. Like I said, bestseller 2 books, Sleepless Nights and The Cycle, Success Cycle. Check out his podcast. You need a little push. You need a little motivation there. You're going to the gym. You want to listen to something good other than Steel Nation Live while you're working out. Check him out, Marquez Ogden, former Baltimore Raven.
Did you notice he threw a couple jabs in there at Pittsburgh?
It's all right,
So I might have to take his book back to the return section.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Well, you could put it on eBay or something like that. But folks, like Sanders said earlier, we want some Buffalo Bill fans to call in. The phone number to call in if you don't have it. It's 585-210-3917.
I'm opening up to Buffalo Bill fans
or any
Buffalo
fans.
Bill. If you're a Buffalo Bill fan, don't call in yet. Don't call in yet. I'm opening this up to Buffalo Bill fans because I want to get a score from you guys. I want to hear if the Bills are going to win and hear what you got to say. Buffalo Bill fans, come on up. I'm calling you out.
So let's go over a couple of tidbits here, a little couple of notes for the show while we're waiting on callers here. TJ Watt, who is hurt, won't be playing for this game. Lucky for the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. That would have been a good matchup. The TJ Watt is the first player in the NFL to lead in sacks 3 years, not 3 years in a row, but 3 years. In 2020, he had 15. 2021, he had 22 and a half. And 2023, he had 19. That's 3 years. I think number 2 was Escapes. We got a caller coming in.
Well, hold up now. Let me see who we got here. Welcome to Stiller Nation Live. Who do you got on the line?
Sanders and James, it's Beetlejuice, better known as Buffalo Chad, and you know me well, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Hey,
Chad, how are you doing, brother?
You know what? I'm a lot less stressed now than I was 6 weeks ago. Let's just leave it like that.
Is that because you're playing the 7th seed, the Pittsburgh Steelers?
So true fact, the Bills have been the 2 seed 3 times since they went to the 2-7 format. And you guys talked earlier about a 10-point spread. The Bills are the only 2 seed to not cover the spread, not once, but twice as the 2 seed. So would you say that I'm excited about playing Pittsburgh? Yes, because they are the 7th seed and that the 2 seed is still 6-0 against the 7th seed. But when it comes to that Vegas point spread, I'm not confident at all. But I am confident in one individual that leads the NFL in touchdowns this year, and that's number 17, J.A. Josh Allen.
But then again, he also leads in interceptions as well. So it's either
that's true.
It's feast or famine. I mean,
isn't that the same way you guys lived for how many years with Big Ben?
well, he was a gunslinger.
Well, they got a gunslinger too. Hey, Chad, I will say this. I agree with you in the instance that you do got a quarterback that can do some game-changing plays. But you also do have a quarterback that, to me, doesn't do that well under heavy pressure. Now, case in point, last time we played them, we don't have our big gun in there, and I admit that. If we had TJ Watt, I would be definite that we cause havoc, we cause disruption, and it would be an issue. But we do have some younger guys under him. That one guy, Herbig, who's almost like what they refer to almost as Baby Watt.
Yeah.
Who has got that same type of motor, who I believe can cause disruption.
What are they doing in Wisconsin? How are they growing these guys?
Hey,
I mean,
cheese, milk, all that stuff.
A lot of cheese, baby.
A lot of dairy.
A lot of cheese.
A lot of dairy products.
Hey, Chad, and also I want to give me a score for this game. I'm right. Could you write down Chad right there? I'll give a score because I'm trying to get all these Bills fans. You know, they're all over the place. You know, like I said, and Chad, you know, like I said, I've done business with Chad before. Chad's a phenomenal guy. A lot of things he had going on, Chad, as well. Give me a score for this game, Steelers versus Bills.
27-17 Buffalo. We missed the spread by a half point.
Wow.
And I'll tell you this, guys. One of the things you talk about the pressure on Josh Allen, and yeah, this year it's been unusual that he has had a lot of pressure, and he's been, well, I guess you can say dancing feet per se.
Right.
The difference, though, this year, and especially the last half of this year, has been number 4, and that's James Cook. You want to bring the pressure on the Buffalo, that's fine. We'll either do a swing out to James Cook. We'll either do a cross over the middle to James Cook. We'll have Shakir come across on a drag pattern. Or if you really want us to exploit your secondary, we'll get that number 14 involved. His name's Stephon Diggs.
Well,
that being said, I didn't even talk about the number 1 tight end in the NFL. That being
Knox.
Not Travis Kelce. It's Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, Kincaid.
Kincaid's going to be a beast. But, I mean, honestly, it's feast or famine. I don't think we need to look at the first 2 quarters as what this game's going to be all about. It's going to be the first 2 drives of the third quarter. And it doesn't matter if Buffalo or Pittsburgh are up by double digits going into the half. However, the first 2 drives go in the third quarter, that's going to determine your winner. Either Josh is going to be too excited and he's going to start throwing interceptions, and Pittsburgh, as long as they hang on, they'll take the win. But let's look at that defense as well, guys. They stopped Tua. They've stopped Dak. They've stopped Patrick Mahomes and kept each one of these quote-unquote top quarterbacks in the NFL at bay. Who's
I
Mason
agree.
Rudolph?
I agree. And see, that's Chad, and that's where, because I'm gonna get off with you quick in a little bit, but that's where I kind of agree with you. They did stop those high level quarterbacks, but yet who is Mason? Who's Mason Rudolph?
That's a good question.
But now let's talk about the New York Giants. Who is Tyrod Taylor? Tyrod Taylor.
And he led the Bills to the playoffs. Wait, you can throw
That's a good one.
You got him.
How about this?
You got him.
Mac Jones took the Patriots down the field and beat us earlier in the season. So
Macaroni Jones,
guys, is it's a different team since the bye. I mean, just like the Steelers the last 3 weeks, just like the Bills last 6 weeks, these are 2 completely different teams. And I remember being in your chat saying, "Good God, does Mike Tomlin and Sean McDermott, are they exactly the same?" And they are.
I think that too. And it's just true.
Found a way to lead their teams to the playoffs.
They're good talkers.
Good talkers.
They're good talkers.
Hey, Chad, again, my brother, I got you down 27-17.
Pittsburgh.
You my man, brother. Thanks for stopping by Steeler Nation Live.
Bills.
Go Bills. All right, my brother.
Go get some chicken wings. Get some chicken wings. Now he brought up a good point that we had Ben Roethlisberger and he had his moments as well. But I would have to give the edge. I don't know. It's almost even, but because of Josh Allen's mobility. He's faster and he's more mobile than Roethlisberger. They took the same, shots downfield. I mean, they're game runners and they're game changers and whatever you want to call them. But I'd have to give the edge slightly to Josh Allen because I mean, both of them you want either one of them to win the game for your team. But down the stretch, same thing. Are they going to throw a touchdown or are they going to throw an interception? But you got to give the edge slightly to Josh Allen with his mobility and against the Miami Dolphins, that tough defense. I think he ran for almost 70 yards on the ground and he also threw for almost 400 yards in the air. So, I mean, this you want to talk about a dual threat. I mean, it's no Mike Vick. But still, I mean, you got Josh Allen back there. If you don't keep a spy on him, and you can't play zone coverage against the Buffalo Bills. You got to play man. You got to keep a spy on Allen because if those guys are covered, they send their guys deep, and if nobody's open, he's going to run. The whole field is open, and that's what we have to look out for. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes about our games. Strategy. What are the Steelers going to need to do to beat the Buffalo Bills? Sanders, let's go. Let's start with you.
All right. I'll say one thing like the Steelers have to do, and there's a lot of things that play right now. People don't realize that play into the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll tell you what that is. Number one, they're the underdog. So that means Buffalo's coming in there thinking that, you know what, we got this on lock. They start to get lackadaisical. I've seen it in games with the Bills. You've seen it on teams they played that they should throttle. That the Bills come in there confident, and they either lose or they're in a dogfight. Now, if the Steelers can force this to a close game going towards the fourth quarter, I believe the Steelers can do that. And one way they have to do that, continually run the ball. And that means if they have to, and it plays right. Reason I say it plays right into the Steelers' hands, because the weather in Buffalo, I think Sunday is supposed to be
cold and windy.
Cold, probably snowy, probably a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But the thing about it is, we got somebody calling in. I'm going to get back to that because I got a lot to talk about with that. Hold on. Hey, welcome to Steeler Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
Oh, my God, if I keep hearing about your 3-game win streak.
Hey, we got to have something to cheer about. We're in the playoffs.
I'll give you something to cheer about. I already sent you the application earlier tonight.
All right. So let's talk. This is for folks at home. This is San Fran Steve, longtime listener, longtime caller, great fan of the show. He sometimes he comes on and he says some really intelligent things, but that could go either way. But the San Francisco 49ers first round bye, they're setting up. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are a different team than when you beat up on them earlier in the season. It looks like it's either you're going to play them probably in a championship game. So what are the 49ers going to do to stop the Dak attack? And because obviously it appears that nobody's doing that right now.
Come on, let's talk about who the Cowboys played the last few games of the season. They played a beat up Philadelphia Eagle team that after we beat them, they haven't been the same since. They beat the Washington Commanders, another team that's not that great. They're beating teams that they should be beaten, just like you said that the Bills should be beating teams that they should be beaten too. But it's just like the difference between the Cowboys is like they're going to fumble into the playoffs, lose another game, and hopefully we can stop hearing about the Cowboys for another 6 to 8 months. Yeah, Cowboy fans, I said it. I said it. I will back up my words.
I love it. Freaking love it.
Oh, man.
No, seriously, who have they beaten? What above 500 team has they beaten?
No,
Nobody.
They beat the Eagles.
Well, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They did beat the Dolphins, and they beat the Detroit Lions. But Detroit, that was a.
Well,
I'm surprised that game hasn't even gone to the commissioner. Well, listen, they screwed up big time. But no, I know the Lions don't want to win that way, so they'll whip their ass later on in the year, later on in the playoffs.
maybe.
But let's talk about your team. I see your teams. You know me. I'll give you credit when credit's due. You guys lost a big piece of your defense. but you beat the last 3 teams that were not good at all, and we got to admit that.
And we lost the teams we should have beat. We should have killed the Patriots. We should have killed the Cardinals. I mean, it's just you don't know who's going to show up. But now we have a reason to believe, I guess, with Rudolph. I mean, what else do we have? I mean, it's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's our only hope right now, and we hope we take that.
It is your only hope right now. You know what? I'll give credit where credit's due, but we also got to look at, if you guys fall behind in this game by 14 points, your team does not have the makeup to come up from a 14 deficit.
No, we don't.
To come back up and
agree.
So if Buffalo starts off like they have sometimes, let's just say Kansas City, where they went and scored down the first drive, and they hold Pittsburgh from not scoring on the first drive, and they go back and even if they score 10. 10's a lot of points for Pittsburgh to try to play catch up, and they're going to do everything they possibly can, which is going to cause errors and which is going to cause turnovers.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I was on a Steeler website earlier. It's just like, wow, we swept Baltimore. You swept Baltimore, but let's talk about the last game of the season. You beat a team that's almost like practice players because they didn't start anybody.
Well, don't forget we started our 3rd string quarterback.
San Fran Steve, come on.
and guess what? The Browns started 4 quarterbacks, and look where they are today. So,
yeah,
point taken. Point taken.
Crickets.
No. Browns have a phenomenal defense, though. You got to admit they got a phenomenal defense that keeps them in these tight games. Pittsburgh has a good defense, but Pittsburgh's had massive injuries to their defense. Matter of fact, we just lost our big boy this weekend, TJ Watt.
Yep, that's why I'm wearing number 90 tonight. And
so what's going on with Fitzpatrick? Is he playing, or is he still day to day?
Fitzpatrick will be playing.
Yep,
and we're getting Kazi back from his suspension.
Crazy Kazi.
It's not football anymore. What are you gonna do?
But here's the other thing. Yeah, we know Rudolph can play in certain elements. Is he going to be able to play in the cold, wet winds of
that's Pittsburgh,
the Bill Stadium?
That's Pittsburgh.
That's Acrisure Stadium, actually. Yeah,
that's like being back at home.
At home.
Come on, bring on some more.
You're
stuff.
150 miles north, and it's colder by the lake.
But here's the difference. Now, San Fran did what I was going to tell people earlier. The keys. The fact is, it's going to be bad weather, right? That's what they said. They said it's going to be bad. It's going to be windy
and cold.
It's going to be cold.
24 degrees.
So you know what that takes out of the element? Josh Allen zipping the ball downfield, going crazy. That takes that out of the element. So now you got to work within what else they have. They either got Josh Allen trying to run between the tackles, run outside, and Pittsburgh is good at playing mobile quarterbacks.
Yep, and
we contained Baltimore Ravens quarterback every year. Pittsburgh's been containing them.
Yeah, but the one thing that the Buffalo Bills did pick up was Leonard Fournette. How the hell they got him?
Yeah, that was a good pickup.
And because Cook, he had that one amazing game and he's cooled off after that. That's why Josh Allen had to run for almost 70 yards against the Dolphins because Cook just wasn't cooking.
It's amazing how Buffalo will go away from things that work. He was working. They keep trying to push Cook up the center. When he had that 200-yard game or just under, what was he doing? He was running off tackle to the outside. Why did they abandon that? Because I don't know. Let's just say Morris can't get out of his way to go block somebody, or that big fathead Brown going from the right tackle trying to go all the way over. He's out of breath. It's like, so it's just like. But here's what Josh Allen's going to have to win this game. He's not going to. He can't go after the home run balls because that's where he makes mistakes unless he's on the run. If he stays with the short passes, and keep playing with the 2 tight ends, and you get your play action back. I think the Bills might give you guys a lot. They're going to give you trouble, a lot of trouble. And I think, and my prediction is going to be like
Yeah, I was gonna get it.
31 to 23.
San Fran Steve says 31-23 Bills. Okay, all right.
And
we got two Bills so far.
And I'm glad, and I'm so glad it's not Saturday night, because then that way James can't give me an excuse why he's not coming to a certain location on Saturday night. So it's just like, hey, and ask for what happened to his Freddie Mercury mustache. I kind of miss it.
Oh, he cut that. I begged him.
Listen. That could grow back as fast as I cut it off. So I don't want to. Oh, we got the San
What, did it
Fran.
take you 3 months to grow that?
We got the San Fran Steve fan club out there saying hang up on San Fran Steve.
Yeah, you see that?
Some guy named Mark says hang up on San Fran Steve.
Well, Mark must be a Cowboy fan.
No, I think he's a Titans fan.
Right.
I think he is.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was my brother.
Hey, only on here, folks. So welcome to Steeler Nation Live, where we just keep on giving the entertainment, the love. San Fran Steve, thanks for calling in.
Definitely.
We love you, man. You know, I'll be seeing you Saturday, of course, unfortunately for me or for you, whatever. But I'll be there. And thanks for Mark for chiming in. And we got your score, Steve. We'll talk more this weekend. Love you. Thanks for calling in, pal.
All right,
later.
my brother. Yeah, guys, like we said, you know what? Huge. Back-to-back calls coming in. Welcome, Steeler Nation Live. I got a feeling who we got on the line, but I'm going to let you come out with it. Who we got on the line on Steeler Nation Live?
Yo. Hee-haw, Cowboy King.
Cowboy Kenny. All right.
Hey.
We love it. Love you, man. Love it.
San Fran Steve talking about? Why is he Is he scared? Is he scared that the Cowboys are going to lasso them 49ers up?
Listen. I don't think there's a doubt in this world that the 49ers are gonna, if you guys end up playing, are going to take care of you like they did earlier. I'm sorry, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. We got, just like we come to our reality. Our season may be over on Sunday. We have to, atone to it. We have to, accept what may be happening. You guys
let it
stole
happen.
a game
Just let
from
it
the
happen.
Lions. I mean, it's just, but you
I
got
think
the
y'all
setup.
going to take Buffalo, though.
Listen,
I think the Steelers got Buffalo.
Oh,
I really believe that.
Let's write it down while he's thinking. But write it down, right? Hey,
what score?
Cowboy Kenny. Go give me a score, Cowboy Kenny.
For Steeler Buffalo game?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's going to be low because of the weather, but I think it's going to be like maybe 20 to 13.
I like that.
All right. Okay. And Cowboys 42, Packers 17.
Oh yeah, give us a score.
Yeah,
give us a score on the Cowboy game.
All day.
Give us give us a score on your game.
See, I think this is too big of a stage for Jordan Love.
He's thinking.
I do. I do. I think Jordan Love's been waiting 3 years to get in the game, so he might bring a little attitude. But I think it's going to be big numbers, like you said.
So
I'll venture to say, I don't think it's going to be a shootout, though. I think when they show up, Deron Bland and actually the guy who came in for who got hurt, Wilson came in and picked off, got an interception this week. Number 6.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did.
He came in for the boy from with the braids, Gilmore.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Gilmore got hurt, and he came in and
Gilmore
got a pick that quick. So I think Cowboys got something to prove this year, man. We got a chip on our shoulder.
Give me a score. Give me a score, Kenny. Cowboy Kenny.
Go with that 42. I'm liking that 42 right there. That 42-17. I'm gonna give him 23. I'm gonna say 42-23.
You'll give 23.
I'm gonna say realistically, Cowboys win this 33-28 in a dogfight. There's no way, the way the NFL is rigged and staged, that they're gonna have the Cowboys lose to a 7-seed team. There's no way. We all know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be the final four is gonna be Dallas and San Fran. And it's going to be on the AFC. I'm going to, I think it's going to be, I'm going to say Houston and maybe Houston and Kansas City. No, I'm sorry. Take that
What?
back. Take that back. It's going to be Kansas City and the Ravens. That's the Final Four.
Okay.
Cowboys and the 49ers. It's going to be Chiefs and
The Ravens.
the Ravens.
I
The
can see
Ravens.
that. I can see that.
And it's going to
Hey,
be
let me say
it's going to be San
let me say
Fran
one
and the
thing to
Ravens.
San.
Mhm.
Let me say one thing to San Fran Steve.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
He sounded really, really nervous today, boy. He wasn't confident in what they were doing. He was trying to pinpoint everybody's downfall, kind of, instead of talking highly of his team, which I understand because there are no high points right now. Okay,
Oh,
let's go
boy.
on.
Killing him. Killing him.
That's my boy there, Cowboy Kenny. Keep it up. Keep on San Fran Steve, baby.
Man, boy, I
Much
tell
love,
ya.
San Fran. Love you, man.
All right, my
Y'all
dog.
keep doing it. Y'all have a good one.
So the reason why I say that, and there's been a lot of talk lately about the NFL being rigged, the referees, and there's videos out there. You go to YouTube, you can see them, and it's not like we're making this up. Conspiracy theories. I mean, you can't help but not call what it is. I mean, with these plays, with these phantom penalties. I mean, if we'll take the Cowboys-Lions game, for instance. If that was an actual penalty, they would have threw the flag on the penalty, dead ball foul. They don't throw the flag after they score the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, I hate this.
It just seems suspect. And with all these scenarios being set up that Tyreek Hill is going to play back in for the Dolphins, he's going to play back in Kansas City. We got the Packers going to Mike McCarthy, who's now the Cowboys coach, and you got all these things going on, all these conspiracy theories. But the one you can't escape, and check it out when fact check this if you can. Would you go with how the Super Bowl tickets are pre-printed? Got another
Okay.
caller on the phone.
Let's see
We'll
who we
talk
got.
about this in a minute, folks. Stand by.
Hey guys, welcome to Still Nation Live. Who do we have on the line?
Hello.
Anybody there? Okay. All right.
Hello,
all right.
hello.
All right. Must have been a Buffalo Biller.
But yeah, getting back to what I was saying, if you look at the pre-printed Super Bowl tickets, the colors match the teams who are playing. Now these tickets are pre-produced way before the Super Bowl. Who knows who's going to be playing? So this year, it's the colors of the Super Bowl tickets are purple and red. So let's think about that, folks. What colors out there now? Purple and red. Okay, the Ravens, purple, red, San Francisco. I mean, this has been going on for years. You could look back, you could fact check. When the Rams played the Bengals, the colors were orange and yellow. And these tickets are mass produced way before the playoffs, or who knows who's going into the Super Bowl. So it's just something to look about. Do some homework out there. Check it out there. But getting back to what we're talking about, how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, let me finish that up because I
Go
was
ahead.
on that.
Finish
I was
that
on
up.
it. I was on a tirade. Now,
tirade.
I got interrupted by San Fran, Steve. No. Love you, Stan. Love you, San Fran. Hey, but the thing about it is, guys, is that I believe the Steelers just plays right into their hands. Like I was saying, bad weather, with the wind gust, things like that. So that won't be guys out there, throwing the ball long or whatever. You might get a couple of them off long, but are they going to flutter? Are they going to go sideways? Are they going to do this and do that? And the last time the Bills played in some resemblance of weather like this was against the New England Patriots, who probably passed 4 to 5 times in that game, and the Bills lost. So now Pittsburgh's got the fact that kind of evens up our factor with TJ Watt, I think, somewhat, because now that forces the Bills to kind of try to change their game sense. If the Pittsburgh Steelers can handle and shut down and keep check on that tight end Kincaid, which I believe they'll do that by putting Minka on Kincaid just to shut him down. After that, you got a nice Joey Porter, and I seen guys on the board was writing about Joey Porter out there. Put him on number 14, Stephon Diggs. And everybody, I don't even care if you double him and then let the other guy go one-on-one or whatever. I believe the Steelers, with constant pressure, the run game, don't ask a lot of Mason. Just like what he's doing, this plays right into Mason's game. 10-yard passes. That's all I was asking from Kenny Pickett. 10-yard passes, 5-yard passes, keep the chains moving, use your backs. 10-yard passes, pass to your backs. Now, they were talking about Chad said that they would use the swing out passes to pass to Cook. The Steelers do the same thing. So you got to control that as well. And not just that, the Steelers got a 1-2 punch, and now the Bills just recently got a 1-2 punch. So once you think about it, they're almost similar.
Yeah.
They're almost similar. Steelers was one game away from that same record because we lost to the Cleveland Browns, which is a 10-13 game from inadequate quarterback play. The Steelers, if they'd have won that game, they right now would be tied with the Bills, and the Bills will be the one having to be in that 7th seed. So when it comes down to it, I believe the Steelers can do it. I'm calling it an upset, James. I'm going to get ready to write it down. Pittsburgh 27, the Bills 14.
Wow. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Now, almost, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said, but because of the weather, here's what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do. Number one, they have to control the game clock. They have to establish the run game. Can't abandon it right away. Okay. We can't do that. We have to avoid the pre-snap penalties. We're going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be a huge, loud, yelling crowd. So we have to avoid those pre-snap penalties. We have to have a consistent running game. And by what I mean is just, you don't have to get those 7-8 yard runs every play. Get us into a manageable third down position where it's easily to try and get the first down. Pittsburgh Steelers have been really good on third down conversions as of late. Could have been because of Rudolph, play calling. We don't know. Now, we have to utilize the tight ends. Now, Darnell Washington's got a couple catches in his pocket right now. He needs to be more versatile. They need to get the ball out. And when we establish a running game and, we get Freiermuth out there, we don't have to do 20, 30-yard passes. Let Freiermuth run after the catch. Darnell Washington, we got him for a reason. Same thing. Big guy's a monster.
Yep.
Try and tackle this guy. Okay. So what we got to do is you have to, have one in, one block, release one, go over the middle. And this is what made Tom Brady famous. This is what saved the Patriots every time. The outlet pass. You couldn't go deep, so he just dump it off in the middle because you're one-on-one with a linebacker, and you know where the ball's going. You could do the route. You can do whatever you want, and it's hard for you to just get 7 yards. Not a problem. We need to utilize the tight ends more. We need to do more slants in, skinny post. The middle of the field is usually wide open, and Rudolph's a man that can do that. We gotta just get these trick plays out of. The trick plays, just don't even think about bringing them. You know what I'm saying? You're just ruining momentum of the game.
Still a freak on there. He said a correct thing. He says special teams play. Harvin can't shank punch.
Here we go. Stand by there, Steeler freak. I'm getting there. I'm a little long-winded, but I'm gonna get there. Hold on. I'm on my way. I'm almost there. Hold on. Be patient. I'm almost there. So we have to go deep once or twice. And I don't mean just go deep for the hell of it. I mean actually run a play to go deep because Rudolph, he's been throwing dimes. He can make the play. You just got to trust your receivers. You got to trust Pickens to go up. We drafted him for that reason, to fight for the balls. Let Rudolph take a couple shots downfield. He's been doing pretty good job the last couple games. I also said, no pre-snap penalties. And here we go, special teams. Now, Presley Harvin has had a horrible, horrible, horrible season. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will invite him back next year, but he's got a lot on the line right now to save his job. And I don't care, you call pressure, call whatever you want. We need his punting abilities. When he first got drafted with the Steelers, you got to make those punts. Field position, especially in a windy game like this, one team is going to have the wind behind them. One team's going to have the wind against them. You have to utilize the wind in this type of game. It's going to be not a high-scoring game. It's going to be a somewhat low-scoring game, but it's going to depend on who gives up the ball and who takes away the ball. And getting to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, hopefully the offense will be out there long enough for defensive rest. We know TJ Watt's not going to be playing there, unfortunately, but do not by any means count out the new tight, the young defensive end, Herbig, and oh my God, just the name escapes me.
Is it Goldson or something?
Golden.
Yeah.
And Golden. Do not count those guys out. Don't think you're going to take advantage of them because we got the other guy, Highsmith, on the other side. So as long the defense is going to have to play man. Screw the zone, because we're so horrible in the zone. It screws all the time. Keep a spy on Josh Allen, because when those guys are covered, he runs, and you need somebody to cover him. And once you do that, you got to keep the offense. You got to keep Josh Allen off the field. That's a number one thing you got to do. And I'm gonna say a score, Sanders, 23-17. The Pittsburgh Steelers pull this one out. I'm sorry. I mean, I know we might sound talking crazy, but when you go into a game like this where the Buffalo Bills should win this game, the Pittsburgh Steelers go into this game, dragging a leg, limping in there, have nothing to lose but everything to gain. You put more on the line, and you should shock yourself, you surprise yourself, the things you can do when you're under this type of pressure. And it's either win or go home. And you know what? The Pittsburgh Steelers right now, with the way they are in their mentality, coming off a 3-game winning streak there, San Fran, Steve, and, just get, backing into the playoffs, whatever. We're there. Slate's clean, 0-0, everybody. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this one, 23-17.
Hey, guys, like we said, we gave you our scores. I've seen some scores on the board. Joe Testa saying 30-13 Bills.
Of course, a Bengals fan.
Yeah, Bengals fan. But one thing I want to say, too, with Joe being a Bengals fan, Cincinnati Joe.
Yeah.
Did you realize that the AFC North is the only team in NFL history where every team was over 500?
Yeah, and thanks to beating up on the Browns the last game, look it up, folks. It is what it is.
Yeah, so it's a record. With NFL, they said that's the first time in the history of the NFL that every team in that division was over 500. And I believe the lowest team was at 9-8.
9-8. That's the Bengals.
Yeah.
In the basement. But it's gotta be kind of, demoralizing to be, have a record of 9-8, your winning record over 500, and not make the playoffs when other teams in the NFL has either won their division or they're in the playoffs with a 9-8 record.
Now, let me read some other scores out there. Carl Colangelo says 20-17 Pittsburgh Steelers. It's all coming out there. And also, let me see, Todd Adams. Hey, what's up, Todd? He says 27-14 the Bills.
Ooh.
Oh, man. Well, one thing what Joe did say, Cincinnati Joe, he said, kudos to Pitt for grinding it out to the playoffs, but this is a bad matchup for you guys. And being honest, I wanted to play Miami as opposed to the Bills. It was a luck of the draw. We ended up with the Bills, but I do believe that Pittsburgh can go in there and upset the Bills. They did it before.
I think we would have a better shot with Kansas City Chiefs, because right now they don't have no receivers who know how to catch the ball. And it's not just a fluke game. This has been going on the second half of the season, and the Chiefs barely made it into the playoffs. I just, because of the division that they play in, it's hard not to win that division. So, I mean, we had teams either you win the game and the division or not even the playoffs. So
Agreed.
How does that, I mean, that's got to suck.
Agreed.
I mean, it's all or nothing. And
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, we just, back then, thanks for the terrible towel curse. If you don't believe it, I suggest you get a terrible towel and do some damage to it and expect your team to lose.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
And also, guys, in other NFL news, let me touch base on that. Jameis Winston. Now, I don't know if you know this game. It was the Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons. The game was over pretty much. They lined up in victory formation. There's a coach pissed for the Atlanta Falcons, about to chew the head off for the New Orleans Saints guy. And also was Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp
had some phenomenal words. He said that they lined up in victory formation and the game should have been over. You snap the ball, let the clock run out.
Take a knee.
What do? They snapped the ball, handed it off to the running back, and let him go in for a touchdown, which made the score, even worse. 48 to whatever it was, 17.
Something.
Yeah. So they made the score higher, for which made absolutely no sense. So now you make the score higher. And why do you make the score higher when there was no reason to do it? So that's what the guy was yelling about. And I agree 100%.
Sure.
Why?
And the coach for the Saints said, hey, I told him take a knee. He went on his own. So like you, Sanders, I think that quarterback should have been cut from the team.
Yeah. Shannon Sharp said, you know what? This guy, he couldn't even play for me for the league minimum. He said he needs to be gone. And I agree with that. Now, a lot of people before used to say, you know, Tomlin's losing the locker room, A, B, C, D. That's what you call losing the locker room. All right, you know, we get closer to the end of the show, but we got another call coming in. Let's see who we got here. Welcome to Still a Nation Live. Who do we got on the line?
Losing the locker room. All right, this is EMC Reggie Fresh from the EMC Reggie Fresh Morning
Reggie
Show.
Fresh, love it. My man, Reggie Fresh.
What's going on, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Hey man, all I know is they shouldn't have let us get in this playoff.
That's it, baby.
Because look, I think we got a great chance because we're the hottest team that was on the bubble that's going in the playoff.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, brother.
And that team, now I'm gonna tell you, the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, the way they play, they don't even look like playoff teams. So
Agreed.
you see what I'm saying? So I don't think I think we could beat any of those teams playing the way they played the other night, and the way we playing. But we playing like we playing with all the marbles. And Rudolph, I'm gonna tell you, I gave up on Rudolph, but I'm gonna tell you what Rudolph did. I sat back and watched. I thought about what he went through and all this kind of stuff. Rudolph knew this was his last chance, and that joker vamped and prayed, and he went out there and did his work because that's a complete different quarterback. Because I ain't lying, I was done with him. He made a believer out of me, and when you make a believer out of me, then you doing your job.
Well, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna run straight to Rudolph's defense, and not because he's been doing good lately. Since he was drafted from the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got to agree with me. What I'm going to say here, Reggie Fresh, is that Rudolph never has got the opportunity to show what he has. Has he played before? Yes. Has he played poorly? Absolutely. But think of all the situations that Rudolph has been put in the past as a Pittsburgh Steelers. No-win situations. The team is playing like shit, and he's never had the ability to start Reggie Fresh from the beginning and play a couple games and show what he can do. He's been thrown into the situation. It's a no-win situation. And of course, he's not going to have good stats. You got to give this guy the chance to show what he's got. And they did that. He's played 3 games and he played admirably, and he increased his playing ability each game. Why? Because when you take first snaps all through, reps throughout the whole week with the first squad, the first team, you're going to do better because you're going to do, sure, you should know all the plays all the time. But when you get in that rhythm, when you get the momentum and you're doing the plays instead of just watching somebody else to do it, this is why he's accomplishing what he's doing. He has never been given a chance, and shame on the Steelers front office for drafting this kid and just putting him in situations, no-win situations. And this is how this is how people said, no, we can't put Rudolph in. Get Rudolph. He sucks. He's horrible. He stinks. You show me one season that he has ever had an opportunity to do what he's been doing now. And look at him shine. Simple.
You're right. Okay, I give you that. Yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying that's how I was. But now that you broke it down, it kind of make a little sense. But the Steelers, we gotta have a good quarterback. And once a quarterback ain't really playing good for a Steelers fan, it ain't gonna work. But I'm glad he came out of it and got a chance to play. And like I said, I'm gonna give y'all my score. It's gonna be 24-17. 24-17 Pittsburgh. We can go in there and upset them, and I think bad weather's going to be kind of cold, and it's going to be to our advantage.
Exactly.
Even though they're cold weather too.
Yeah, they're cold weather too. But like I said,
you know what I'm saying?
Reg, that kind of controls the quarterback situation where they got a quarterback with a strong arm, but they got a quarterback that's got a strong arm that's going to be thrown into wind gusts, and you can't do that. So now you got to change it.
Right. And you know what, too? What I like about Pittsburgh, we do splash plays, and we got a lot of rotation. So we got a lot of playmakers that can come in off the bench and, with fresh legs and make a difference. See, they only going to be dealing with their starters. So we're gonna make some difference. It's always going to be something special that we're going to do for our defense. So that's what I like. I like our chances of going in there and upsetting the Buffalo Bills and then going up there and take care of Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. And we done been through this before, too. I tell these Raven fans, y'all got a whole daggone 2 weeks off. It's ridiculous. It ain't nothing but a vacation that when you got to go back to work on a Monday after 2 weeks, you don't want to do no work, and we going to smash them. Watch what happens.
Yeah. Especially.
And they ain't got nothing but 60% of Lamar. They're open. They talking about we didn't have Lamar in. I'm gonna tell you now, it don't matter. So say he get hurt or something on the first play, what you gonna say?
Right.
You got
Exactly.
a next man up. That's what Pittsburgh do.
Well,
And the last question I'm gonna tell you, the last thing I'm gonna tell all you people out there that's listening, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't pay nobody. They ain't never paid nobody but Big Ben. But we take Walmart players and make them out of serious. You see what I'm saying?
well, there you go. All
Hey, guys,
you heard
Reggie
it live
Fresh
here.
in the building, man.
That's
Yeah,
my
Reggie
boy
Fresh is
MC Reggie Fresh. Hey, you guys make sure you check him out. He's on YouTube as well. MC Reggie Fresh Show. This guy does a lot of stuff.
He's the best.
Hey,
He's the best.
the guys online. The guys online saying you're nice, bro. So hey, I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing, MC Reggie Fresh, baby.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, like I said, he's guys done a lot of stuff. He comes out with some crazy stuff, man. So like I said, you gotta check him out though. But I mean, but he's right though. You know, like I said, Pittsburgh doesn't pay the money for their players, so they do. Like I said, Tomlin does what he can create. You get some clay and you try to mold it, and they've done that. They've done that for years, and they've won championships.
Yeah, Tomlin has the ability to pull the goodness out of the player and make him who he wants to be. And that's why I think Mike Tomlin, we didn't even have had a chance to talk about Mike Tomlin, but we're going to have to talk about Mike Tomlin next week on the show. Tune in. We want to thank our guest, Marquez Ogden, for calling in. Former Baltimore Raven, had nothing but nice things to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey, if you're looking for a good book to read, check him out. Sleepless Nights, The Cycle of Success, and check out Authentic with Marcus Ogden. Check it out on the web. Check it out podcast. Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers win next week. We'll return. Pittsburgh Steelers 23-17 over the Buffalo Bills. That's my prediction.
Till we see you. Peace.